Welcome to A Meaningful Marketplace.
I'm Sarah Massoni from Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center, where I've helped countless dreamers launch their new food products. It's the science of taking a food delight from the kitchen to mass manufacturing and still keeping its great taste. That's what I do. I've been called the woman with the $1 million palate, although I haven't tried to cash that check yet. Listen in weekly for real-life stories.
I'm Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce and author of Preservation Pantry, modern canning from root to top and stem to core. I love inspiring business owners to get started on their journey, encourage folks to be part of their local community, and I'm excited to help business owners tell their stories. Hello and welcome to The Meaningful Marketplace. We are here weekly to discuss the journey of food entrepreneurs. We are glad you've joined us today as we bring you stories of hope and inspiration. This is Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce. Sarah Massoni is out for a bit on medical leave. Feel free to send her messages of love and healing to her Instagram at Sarah Massoni, or you can leave her messages on our hotline, 503-395-8858. I did check in with her. Everything is going great. She's home resting, so no need to worry, but if you want to send her any messages, go ahead and send them our way. And we have been partnering with the Regional Food Business Center to bring you guests from our 6-state region. We're currently meeting with business owners from the state of Wyoming. We do have a co-host, Melissa Hemken. She is having, I think, some weather issues there in Wyoming, so she may pop on a bit later and we'll check in about how things are going in Wyoming. But for now, it'll just be me, so you'll get a lot of me today. So hopefully that's okay with all of our listeners. We would like to encourage you to connect with your state by signing up for the Regional Food Business Center newsletter. It's a breeze to sign up. Just go to Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center.com, hit connect with us, and choose the button to receive newsletters. And we want to thank our sponsor for supporting the Meaningful Marketplace. Thank you for helping us spread the word about small business owners and entrepreneurs. Let's hear a word from our sponsor. The Northwest and Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center is the proud sponsor of the Meaningful Marketplace podcast, giving a voice to food from across the 6-state region of Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Washington, and Wyoming. The Food Business Center supports Northwest and Rocky Mountain food industry makers as part of the USDA's National Network of Food Business Centers, supporting a more resilient, diverse, and competitive food system as a go-to source for small and mid-tier food and farm businesses with a focus on underserved communities, providing education in the form of technical knowledge, business programs, and industry news. We sponsor trade shows, meetups, and conferences to connect growers, producers, retailers, distributors, and processors, all to stimulate business and raise the standards of our storied food industry. Join us as we travel through the 6-state region, learning more about food makers, food hubs, and food systems. Visit the website at Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Businesses.com to get connected. And I would like to introduce you to our guests today. Today I have Cindy and Tori of Wyoming Pure. They are raising quality cattle in Wheatland, Wyoming. We're delighted to have you both on the show today. We want to connect you to our listeners. Can you give us the best way to find you on social media and online?
On Instagram, it is Wyoming Pure. Facebook is Wyoming Pure Natural Beef, and our website is wyomingpure.com.
Perfect. We'll make sure to put those in the show notes too, so people can easily click on them and find you. Can we start at the beginning? Why don't you tell us when you started the ranch and what inspired you to raise cattle in Wyoming?
Well, gosh, my husband and I have been married for 48 years.
Well, congratulations.
When we first started, we just did wheat farming, dryland winter wheat. And in the 90s, we decided we had to diversify, so we started raising cattle. His father had raised cattle and his grandfather before that, but we hadn't until in the 90s, and then we decided to diversify. And then in 2004, we needed to expand, but there was really no place to buy more land or lease more land. We didn't know if we could buy more cattle. So we decided that doing some direct marketing would be the way to go and possibly help take out the highs and lows of the market to have a more steady income and a way to increase our income and possibly bring in our next generation. So that's where we started. When I say we hope to take out the highs and lows. It was mostly the lows that we wanted to take out. So far, that's working okay. Right now, it's the highs. We're just kind of coasting on the highs. So, anyway, that's where we're at. We farm with my son and his wife, and this is my daughter, Tori. And she and her husband now are both part of the business. So it's working. We're bringing on the next generation, and we have grandchildren that are coming of age. So anyway, we're excited about where we're going.
And Tori, what's your role in the business?
Well, I was actually a teacher for 13 years. And then I kind of like you wanted to spend more time with my family. So I kind of just started out helping fill orders and things like that. And I have taken on a lot of different roles. As you know, in family-owned businesses, you wear a lot of hats. So I do a lot of the social media accounts, advertising, communicating with customers, a little bit of everything.
Perfect. And I wanted to talk a little bit about where you are all located, because I'm not very familiar with the state. So where is Wheatland, Wyoming? And I'm guessing because of the name that mostly wheat is grown there. So is it, was it a big change to go from growing wheat to cattle? Was that a big change for the farm, or is that something that people typically do?
Well, we're actually still growing some wheat. We raise some organic winter wheat, and we raise alfalfa and other small grains. So it all kind of goes hand in hand. The cattle just sort of fit in. And we put a lot of our farm ground back into grass and starting to graze more. We live in a pretty almost desert area, so our rainfall's pretty short, and it's pretty hard to raise a crop in Wyoming like that on dry land without irrigation. So we're diversifying in that respect as well.
And Wheatland is in southeast Wyoming. We're about an hour north of Cheyenne. For those of you that have more of a commute, that's 60 miles for us.
And I saw on your Instagram that May is Beef Month. So how do you guys celebrate Beef Month, and how should our listeners be celebrating Beef Month?
Well, we celebrate Beef Month every day. We eat a lot of beef, but we just promote lots of beef in every way. We do roast. We do a lot of social media posts about recipes and different ideas and different ways to cook beef and that kind of thing.
And supporting your local farmers and ranchers, whether it's beef or pork or vegetables, whatever it might be, but mostly supporting your local farmers and ranchers as well.
And for our listeners that are based in Wyoming, how can people support you and purchase from you? And if they're not based in Wyoming, is there a way for them to do that?
Right. We ship nationwide. So you can shop on our website. You have the option to ship, or we do offer some local delivery, and that's offered on our website as well. You're welcome to come to our store. We have a storefront now right here at the farm, which we're pretty excited about. We just moved into it in January. So that was a big expansion for us. But like I said, pretty excited. Great to have the room. And it's nice to be able to welcome customers into an actual storefront that come and see us.
And at the storefront, do you sell just the beef, or do you sell other things in it as well?
Just our beef, but we do also have like seasonings that we like from Wyoming companies as well.
Perfect. And what are the hours of the store?
9 to 3, Monday through Thursday.
And then what's the address? So if people want to go, they can go.
621 Slater Road in Wheatland.
Perfect. And we'll make sure to put that in the show notes so people can find it easily. We always like to ask, we have a lot of different guests on the show. Sometimes we have bakers, sometimes we have restaurant owners. Everybody's day is totally different. Can you tell us what a typical day like is for you as a cattle rancher?
Well, the two of us personally don't at this point spend as much time with the cattle anymore. Unfortunately, we do like to spend our time with the cattle, but so for us, it's more filling orders, communicating with customers, delivering orders, things like that. My husband and my brother and my dad are all working, and my sister-in-law with the cattle. So, gosh, is there a typical day? The other day, my husband was going to take the kids home and feed them dinner, and the cows were out. We had just moved some back to the house, and they were out headed way down the road. And so everybody had to stop what they were doing to get the cattle in. And so you just really never know.
Yeah, that makes sense. We like to talk about the different ways that people process the meat. And so do you do it there on the farm, or do you take it off site to a facility?
We take it off site. We take it to 307 Meat Company in Laramie, which is about 70 miles from us. When we first started, there were no USDA facilities in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were taking our cattle to Colorado, and that was a much longer drive, lots more traffic. And 307 opened up in 2020 in the midst of COVID, and we've been processing with them ever since. And it's worked out really well for us. They do a really nice job, and we have a really great working relationship with them. And that's been pretty critical to our business to have that working relationship with our processor. Finding a processor that you really can work with is pretty key to this kind of business.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it takes a lot of pressure off too, having it be so close and someone that because it does become kind of a business relationship. So you have to trust them, and it has to be easy, and they have to be dependable. So it's good that you found someone nearby that you could enter that relationship with.
It's great.
And did they not exist before the pandemic? Is that something that came out of a necessity of needing somewhere closer?
They actually started building before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
It took 2.5 years for them to complete it. And they opened in March of 2020, right at the beginning of the pandemic. And so they had a lot of growing pains at that time because they were brand new and everybody needed a place to process. That's when everything kind of got crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But they've kind of found their way, and they're a really great business to work with.
You know, one of the reasons we started the podcast with all of our regions is to connect food businesses, both within the states and then outside of the states, so that if there is ever any kind of situation like the pandemic again, we can all be easier connected. But what we're learning is that there are a lot of ways that states have found ways to work within themselves since the pandemic that have created a little bit more ease to get local food to one another. And a lot of it has been local processing has come out of it, which is really nice. And also local food stands and farm stands and places that are farms and ranches having places that people can come access food. And that's why I was asking a little bit more about your stand where people can come pick up food and meat. Did you guys do that before the pandemic, or was that something that came out of it?
No, that's something that we've just really started doing, having people come here.
Mm-hmm.
And that really is nice for us.
Yeah.
It's hard to take our business on the road. There's so much to it, but we've done it. We do farmers markets. We do a lot of shows because you need to meet people. That's the important part about what we do is meeting people, meeting that customer.
Mm-hmm.
That's really an important part of what we do, that connection with our customer.
Yeah.
So going to different shows or markets is a really nice way to do that, because I think people enjoy meeting us. They like to know who we are, what we do. I think that's as important to them too as it is to us.
Are they surprised when they meet you that you're a family business and that it's the whole family involved?
Some people are.
And let's tell our listeners what makes your ranch and the raising of the cows and the harvesting of the beef special. What are you passing on to your customers?
You know, with the pandemic, like we talked about, a lot of processing plants started up, as well as direct to consumer businesses, which is fantastic because that's where we want consumers to be getting American products. Luckily for us, we've had 20 plus years of experience doing this and learning how to get it right. Not that we don't have growing pains still, but we've been around for a long time and we've worked really hard to get people the best product we can.
And are there a specific kind of breed of cattle that you raise?
Yes, we raise Black Angus and Red Angus cattle, and we've worked hard. Our daughter-in-law has really been an essential part of this part of the business. She works hard with genetics, trying to make sure we have the right genetics to do what we do. And it takes some time to create that. It doesn't happen overnight. Because first of all, the cattle have to be at least 18 months before we can slaughter them. And so, it's a cycle that doesn't happen overnight. But we've worked hard to get the right genetics. And so that helps us create a more premium product. And because we don't use antibiotics or hormones, we finish slow. We do grain finish, but for 120 days, which isn't a lot. And then we dry age all of our beef for 21 days. And that's unique too. Not that many people could do that anymore because of the time it takes and the space. So we're fortunate enough to be able to do that and give that to our customers as well.
And are you selling to mostly direct to customers, or do restaurants buy your meat as well?
It's mostly direct to customer. We have a small grocery store that we sell some meat through here in town. And then we have a lot of value added products that we sell: snack sticks, jerky, summer sausage. And we have a lot of wholesale accounts for that. And that helps us move a lot of product also.
And are those things that are available on the website as well that people can order?
They are. Yep.
And that's probably the kinds of things that you can go do shows and offer and talk to people about as well, I'm guessing, because the
Right.
shelf life is longer, probably, right?
Right.
We also offer some unique beef products, I guess I would say. We offer beef bacon as well as beef breakfast sausage, beef brats, and we also just launched a human grade pet food. So that's another way for us to make sure that we are utilizing as much of the animal as we can without creating waste.
That's really great. We like to talk about that kind of thing on the show a lot because it's really good for everyone. We like to utilize everything. I wrote a cookbook quite a few years ago that was teaching people how to use all of the vegetables that they get at the farmer's market, so that instead of composting like carrot tops, you can make a carrot top pesto, or you could make pickle the cherries and then make a cherry stone bitters, so that you're using all of it. I didn't write one for animal products, but I know that a lot of chefs and people do that. And I just think it's such a good idea, because then you can spend more money on, buying and purchasing really great food from local producers. And then you're getting kind of double use out of it. And I think that when people are processing anything, they should always have that idea in mind. So I'm glad that you guys are doing that. It's good that you're doing the pet food too. I know that's so important. Portland, Oregon is a very pet friendly town, and people are really into their pets, and a lot of people, make pet food or are buying just really good quality pet food. Is the pet food that you make, is it available on your website as well? Could people order it?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Cool. We'll make sure to link that too, because I think that people will be very interested in it. One of the things that I heard you mention as well is that you do some farmers markets. Can we tell people what markets you're at?
Right now, we're only doing our local Wheatland farmers market.
When is that one?
It's on Saturdays, and it starts in June and runs through September.
Are they outside markets?
They are.
Yeah, so I'm guessing they can't go year round. Our farmers markets are outside, but we don't have that extreme winter weather that you have. So we can still have our market year round. We'll maybe have to cancel once if we have like some extreme day of snow, but we don't usually have that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But usually when we talk to people in Colorado, Wyoming, their markets run, not in the hard winter, we call it.
Right.
And one hard thing for us, with still having the crops, the wheat and everything, when the farmers markets do run in Wyoming, that's a really busy time for us. So sometimes it's hard for us to get away as well. But we have some other trade shows that we like to go to in Cheyenne every year as well.
Yeah, it's a delicate balancing act, I think, for everyone.
Yes, it is.
Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to tell people about your favorite cuts and what people are maybe missing out on. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Oregon State University's College of Agricultural Sciences and the Food Innovation Center are proud sponsors of Meaningful Marketplace. With a mission to serve all Oregonians, we are committed to giving voice to those whose food and agricultural stories are not always heard. By providing access and opportunity for a more diverse and just food system, because food brings people together.
Okay, we're back. And since you are cattle and beef experts, I just want to clue our listeners in on maybe some of your favorite cuts of meat, maybe something they're missing out on. What should they know when they are shopping for beef?
Well, I think one of the cuts that people miss, and it's a really great little steak, it's the flat iron steak. It's a small steak, comes off the chuck, but it's very tender. It's small. It cooks really fast, probably 3 minutes aside. I do mine in the air fryer. Works great. And they're a very affordable steak. And I think that's a really missed option that people really don't know about. And it could be because of the name. You know, a flat iron steak is not the most attractive.
Yeah, I don't think I've
name, I guess.
ever bought a flat iron steak, mostly because I just don't really know. I don't know how to cook it.
Yeah, that would be one of my first things that I would recommend would be a flat iron.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a try. I don't have an air fryer though. If people don't have an air fryer, how would you cook it? Would you just like quickly grill it because it's so thin?
Yeah, on high heat,
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest, and just, grill it just 2-3 minutes aside. It works great.
Perfect.
Makes a great weeknight meal because it's so fast.
We eat a lot of salads, and so anytime I can grill meat really quick to put on the top of the salad is like, key to our weeknight meal planning. So I'm going to give it a go. Thanks for opening up my world. I've literally never bought a flat iron.
You should try it.
I will.
I highly recommend it.
I will for sure. And do you guys post recipes on your website?
We try.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah.
I have a lot of recipes and I haven't shared that many, but we try to.
You'll find them more on our social media feed.
perfect.
If we cook something, we try to share how we did it.
Tori, do you have a favorite cut?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I really love a tenderloin.
Mm-hmm.
Most people do. Some people know it as a filet mignon. It's the same thing, a tenderloin filet and a filet mignon, but they're just so mouth-watering. You can't go wrong.
That's very true. Something else that's a little bit different is the baseball sirloin. Those are a small steak cut from the top sirloin, and they're basically a sirloin fillet. And they got their name because sometimes they puff up in the center and they kind of look like a baseball, or that's how the story goes. Anyway, and they're also in a very affordable cut for a steak. And a tri-tip roast is always great. I would highly recommend a tri-tip.
A tri-tip is nice because it's not as fatty, but there's cooking options as well. You can grill it, you can smoke it, you can put it in the crock pot. It's just a great roast.
Yeah, I have a tri-tip recipe on our website that I do in the Dutch oven with a little bit of our red chili lime sauce and some tomatoes. And then we'll do it in the Dutch oven. So you sear it and then you roast it in the Dutch oven and then shred it. And then we'll do it for like tacos. And it's like, that's my daughter's favorite because it's the hot sauce that we use isn't too spicy. And so if people are interested in that, it's on our Marshall's Hot Sauce website. But that's my favorite way to cook a tri-tip. And it's delicious.
Oh, it sounds great.
Yeah. It's so easy.
And I think that's a common misconception about beef is that you have to really be a seasoned cook to know how to do it. And you really don't. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you have a good recipe, and not overcomplicate it, I think that.
Right.
But sometimes I think people are scared.
Yes, exactly.
one of my farm stand neighbors is a lamb farmer. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about how you show people what it is that you're selling at the farmer's market, because that's always his problem, because he comes to the market with meat that is frozen and
Mhm.
it's in coolers. And so he never knows how to show it off. So how do you show people what you're selling at the farmer's market? Do you have it in coolers or do you put it in buckets with ice? What do you do to show people what it is you're selling?
Well, if we go to an indoor show, we have a small display freezer that we take.
Mm,
So that's always out front. At the farmer's market, it's a lot harder.
yeah.
We take our trailer with freezers, and then all I can do is, just take it out of the freezer and say, oh, this is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's a little tricky. It's tricky with meat
it is.
to show people. I never really have a suggestion. For me, it's like my stuff is in glass bottles. So it's just like out on the table. And then I have dishes with people to try the sauces. And for you guys, it's a little harder, you know?
Yeah, because typically at the farmer's market, it's hot
Yeah.
outside,
Yeah.
and you don't want it out of the freezer for very long.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
But at an indoor show, it's a lot easier because, like I said, we have our little display freezer, and we always keep a freezer in our trailer, so we have backup
You have
stock.
electricity too. We don't have that at the farmer's market.
Yes.
Where we are. All right. Well, I want to make sure that people can find you one more time. So if they want to order from you directly, let's tell them how to do that. And if they want to come see you in person in Wyoming, let's tell them how to do that.
Okay, you can order on our website, wyomingpure.com, or you can call us at 307-331-1176. Social media is Wyoming Pure for Instagram, and Facebook is Wyoming Pure Natural Beef. If you'd like to come visit us, we are located at 621 Slater Road in Wheatland, Wyoming.
Perfect. And then we always like to end the show with, do you have any advice for people who are currently dreaming up a business?
Follow your dream. It's hard, but it's very fulfilling. Give it a shot.
I love that. I think that's great advice. I think people should go for it. It is always hard, but I think it's worth it. And I think it's worth it to bring your family along with you and create something for the
Right.
next generation. And so I agree. Yeah, I think people should just go for it. Well, it was lovely to chat with you both today. I think it's wonderful what you're doing there in Wyoming. I think it's great that you get to work together as a family. I always love that. And it's been nice chatting with you and meeting you and get to know you both. Hopefully someday I get to make it out to Wyoming. That is my ultimate dream, is that I want to come meet all of the people that I've gotten to talk to. So hopefully there's a reason for me to come out there soon. But it was great to meet you and talk to you both.
Great to meet you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning into our show. You can rate us on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, and you can follow us on Instagram at Meaningful Marketplace Podcast. If you'd like to call or text Sarah and I with questions, 503-395-8858. And we couldn't do this without our fantastic team at Joy of Creation Production House. Thank you to Dave, our production coordinator, and Haley, our audio engineer. We will be back next week, everybody. Goodbye.